and welcome. It's my Facebook Live. This is Tanya Lee Davis. Hello on Instagram as well. I'm trying both of these to see how they work. This is exciting. If you don't know me, my name is Tanya Lee Davis, and I am a stand-up comedian, originally from Canada and American. I've been living in the UK for the last couple of years, and I'm currently stranded in a lovely city called Norwich in the southeast of England. And I've been quarantined here for 7 going on 8 weeks now. So here we are doing my first Facebook Live. So if you're just joining me, please give my thingy a like. Let me know you're out there. Also, let me know where you're coming from, where you're visiting I'm from. I'm basically gonna tell you stories from my life, and that way it gives people a chance to tune in, also for rebroadcasting purposes. And that way, if you guys want to be interactive and ask me questions along the way, if you like this idea and like, chatting with me, I will then answer questions from today's Facebook Live. Sound like a good plan? Hello, Instagram people as well. Can't forget you. I've got 2 different feeds going on. So I'm in my bedroom. This is my, it's my clothes rack. Definitely my height. This is the first time I've had this many people in my bedroom. Very exciting. Kevin wanted some private time in the living room, so he'll be stalking me from there, which will be interesting. So I've been doing small talk videos. I've got to share this. And yeah, make sure you share this with your friends and stuff, the video that's going live. Hopefully I can do this, share it to my friend's page. I don't know what I'm doing. So I was going to continue on from a story yesterday, or when I was doing my small talk videos, I was telling you about my grandparents, my Ukrainian grandparents. And my dad piped in and was like, "Remember, Grandma, she used to make the best donuts." Oh my God, my Ukrainian grandma, Nelly, made amazing donuts. Not just amazing pierogies, pudahe, and holubchi. That was for cabbage rolls, holubchi. I remembered vagina, which is pishka, but I couldn't remember cabbage rolls. Anyway, so Grandma also made homemade donuts. And you know what? If you go to some all-you-can-eat buffets, Chinese buffets, sometimes they have donuts in their dessert section, and those are the best. Those take me back to my childhood. They're just all sugary and yummy. So, and I forgot to mention my grandpa. He died quite a few years before Nellie did, so I don't have as many memories of him. He was quite quiet in nature, and he didn't speak English as well. But what I remember the most from him was when he yawned, he would be in his rocking chair watching wrestling, and he would yawn, and his teeth would pop out, his false teeth. And as a child, that was terrifying. Oh my God. But looking back, fond memories. Oh, and that's where I got my fondness for wrestling. You wouldn't know it that I was really into wrestling as a young kid. My grandpa and I used to watch the WWE. Back then, was it? And Jesse the Body Ventura. Every Christmas, my sister and I used to get pajamas, and they were always like the Lon Johns. So my sister would be running around. We always called her Jesse the Body Ventura. So that was fun. My grandparents, it was the 70s, and they lived in a little bungalow. It was a 2-bedroom house. And my grandparents were that era where we had plastic on the couch. Does anybody remember those days? Does anybody have any parents or grandparents that, to protect the sofas, they covered it in plastic? So if it was summertime and you didn't have any air conditioning, you stuck to the fucking sofa. You had to peel your ass off, or you'd get like a layer of sweat slick. You're on the couch trying to be comfortable, and if you go on too fast, you'll just slide off the other side. And grandma's always had hard candy. My grandma always had hard candy, always on a bowl on the coffee table, but they were all, the lemon drops and stuff, they were all stuck in the bowl, and you'd have to like ram the shit out of it just to break it apart. Yeah, good days. Yeah, back to the wrestling thing. I bet a lot of people don't know, because we have a lot of wrestling fans out there, that I went to high school with Chris Jericho. Yes, the Wall of Jericho, Mr. Y2K. How cool is that? I went to a really pretentious high school. At least I think it was. I never felt like I really fit in, because, you had to wear designer clothes and that kind of shit, and I just wasn't me, per se. But, yeah, Chris was, kind of hung out with the cool kids, Chris Jericho, but he was always a really nice guy, and he was into wrestling, and he was quite religious, and he was into theater, which, you would look at this big buff guy and think he would never do theater, but then when you think about it, theater and wrestling combined, look at it, he's the most famous person from my high school. I'd like to think I'm the second, maybe. So if you're just tuning in, thanks a lot. I'm Tanya Lee Davis. I've got a donate button, so if you'd like to PayPal me or send me a coffee, that would be great. Please let me know where you're tuning in from, because this is my new thing, or hit the little thingies that make the bursts, the happy faces, and the love buttons, all those fun things. What else? So I told you about my grandparents, my Ukrainian grandparents on my mom's side. So I'm kind of lucky. My parents were divorced because I had, 2 lives, basically. I need a drink. And so my grandparents on my dad's side, I love me some lemonade. They were actually quite well off. So they had 2 homes. They had their home in the summers, which was up on Trout Lake near North Bay, Ontario. And they also had a home in Florida, so my family's always had a home in Florida. But Trout Lake, I was thinking about stories from Trout Lake, which were amazing to be able to spend our summers on the lake. It was absolutely beautiful. My grandparents had this glorious house, and it was all stone floors, and my grandma Mabel, if that isn't a stuck-up, pretentious name, hello, my name is Mabel. Mabel had a big, huge wall clock, like a Big Ben wall clock, and it did that ding, 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 ding. And so every time I hear that now living in the UK, I have PTSD, and I just, no, it wasn't that bad. The summers were great because they had a patio that opened up, a big, huge deck, and you could look out onto the lake, and they had a bunch of boats, and one of them was named the Tanya Lee. We had a sailboat. It was a small one. I mean, I think it had 2 beds when you go underneath. I have, you know how you look back at snippets in your life, and you have flashes of, things that happened in your life. At one point, we were on the sailboat in the Gulf of Mexico, and I guess the downrigger thing, the big lead thing that you put down with sailboats, somebody forgot to put it down. So my dad was a bit of a loosey-goosey on the waves with the sailboat, and the fucker flipped the sailboat over. And I remember me lying there. I had a life vest on, my grandfather holding me in the water, and my mother screaming at the top of her lungs because she didn't know how to swim. I'm sure she had a life vest on. I'm sure she had at least one on, if not 2 or 3. But my children's books, like, floating through the water. I've been in quite a few boating / water accidents in my lifetime, so I'm not destined to die in water, people. I say that now, and you'll be using this for my obituary. She said, I stayed at my friend's cabin in the summer. My friend Wendy, speaking of back in Winnipeg, and we went to Lake of the Woods, and at her cabin, and I wanted to go on the kneeboard. And the kneeboards, you kneel and you hold on to them. It's like, water skiing behind the boat. Well, I can't kneel. So what I do on the kneeboards is I slide my feet all the way through, and there's a Velcro thing that you put across your knees. Well, I put it up across my thighs. And, I wanted to shift my weight back, and then I knew if I could hook the handle thingies on, I could get a good enough grip to take off. Problem is, I didn't shift my weight far enough back on the wakeboard, so when it took off, I did a somersault, and I flipped upside down in the wakeboard, on the wakeboard, and let go of the thing, of course, but I was trapped underneath, like upside down, and I remember this vividly, under the water going, gee, I hope somebody comes to get me. And then because I used to practice holding my breath underwater, kind of like, what's that movie with the girls, and she's, maybe it's Beaches or something, where she's always in the bathtub holding her breath. Anyway, that was me. I always used to do that. So here I was, flipped upside down with the wakeboard strapped to my knees, and I'm thinking, holy shit. So I had to sit there and thrust myself, while holding my breath, thrust myself out of the wakeboard. And as I popped up to take a massive breath of fresh air, 2 people had already jumped off the docks to rescue me. So, yeah, that was another incident. I've been pulled in, what do you call it, tidal waves. The undertow, oh yeah, I almost got sucked away to sea when I was in Costa Rica with my dad. Came out, it was just like this hand just reached out of nowhere. It picked me up because I thought, oh shit, this is it, we're going. Back to my grandparents in North Lake. We had the Tanya Lee, we also had another boat they named the Jill Aaron, and that's where I learned how to drive boats and my appreciation for being on the water. I love to fish. I have a really cute picture. If you look on my Instagram, I have a cute picture of me holding a fish. If you're just joining us, thanks guys. It's been just kind of cool. I'm just rambling. I know people are asking me stuff, so if you, I'm going to go through this as I can and say hello to people and answer questions. I do have a donate button if you'd like to throw me a little bit of money since I'm unemployed. But I do love doing these little chats. Kind of fun. Let me know where you're tuning in from, which countries and stuff, because you never know if this is popular. I'm on Instagram as well right now. This is new to me. 4 whole people on Instagram. Why? Woo! Cool. So my grandpa Bing, his name was actually Irving Keeler, Grandpa Davis, but we all called him Bing, and he was deaf as a doornail. Hearing loss definitely runs in our family. And, but he played the organ and he played the piano all the time, but he taught himself how to do it, even though he was deaf. And Grandpa Davis, I think my paternal side of the family is where I get my sense of humor, because my grandpa used to make up songs all the time, and they were just completely ridiculous. And when I was younger, my dad would come up with Henry the Chicken stories, and Henry was always being chased by Colonel Saunders. He always ended up in a demise situation. Somebody just asked me how I lost the weight. Well, that's been a thing. So last fall, so that would have been the fall of 2019, Kevin started having some medical problems, and I was traveling on my own a lot, so I was really stressed out. Plus, I decided in July last year of 2019 that I was going to stop dyeing my hair, and I was going to go au naturel. And I said to Kevin, something big is going to happen in the next couple of months with me. I just felt like it. I said I'm going to be 50 on November 27th, 2020. Mark your calendars, everybody. So I'm coming into 50 as a new me. So because of the stress and everything, I started losing the weight, and I started being able to move a lot better. I've had a lot of hip problems. In fact, I was going to be getting surgery. But losing 16 pounds now, that's 1 stone and 2 pounds, I've been able to move more. So just being able to move, I've been able to exercise my 1 dance video a day. But I'm snacking a lot, meaning a lot of like protein, meat sticks, cheese sticks, nuts, grapes. Been eating a lot of green grapes. If you put them in the freezer and they're really nice and cold, they got a nice crunch to them. So it's like having that crunchy, juicy thing. So yeah, that's pretty much in now that, you know, my hair's growing in pretty well, and I'm down to the lowest weight I've been since it has to be in my early 20s, back when I used to go to the gym. So, yay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So keep joining me with my dance videos. It sucks that I'm only allowed to put 50 seconds of a song on Facebook, because I am doing the songs every day, and I did a little Hebe Belafonte today, Jump in Line, which was a fantastic request from somebody named Andrew out there. So what else? Yeah, being Miss Grandpa Davis. We actually, my family, we're all convinced that Grandpa Davis is still alive, because Grandma Davis, Mabel, was a bit of a tyrant, and we all believe that Grandpa faked his own death just to get out of, you know, being around her. Did you have any health issues as a kid, Paul is asking. Great question. Well, despite being born with dwarfism, which was, you know, concern in 1970, the doctors were like, holy shit, she's gonna die. And I didn't. I was born with a cleft palate. That is a hole in the roof of my mouth. So when my mom started trying to breastfeed me, milk started coming out of my nose. Yeah, at first I think they thought I just had a really good sense of humor. But it turns out every time I ingested everything, it would come out my nose. So I think it was about 3 months old. They put me, or I had to get surgery. So they plugged up the hole in the roof of my mouth. And I can still kind of stick my tongue up there a little bit. But whenever I eat popcorn, I get kernels thingies stuck up at the top. But as you can tell, it hasn't affected my speech or anything. I was also born with cauliflower ears. This is very common for people with dwarfism. I'm only wearing one hearing aid right now because I'm still waiting for tubes to arrive. It's been 8 flippin' days. Good old snail mail in the UK. Yeah, so cauliflower ears are very common. Sorry, I gotta rehydrate. Cauliflower ears are very common for people with diastrophic dysplasia, which is, yes, that is the type of dwarfism I have. And yes, people stare at me all the time. That's one of the questions. And if I saw me walking down the street, I'd stare too, because I'm damn beautiful. I mean, listen, if I see somebody with burns or scars, you can't help but look, and I understand that. I totally get it. And it really doesn't bother me if people want to be curious. I try not to let it bother you, because if you do, you would never leave the house, honestly, because I've noticed that when I've been with new friends or new people and we've gone out somewhere together, they feel very self-conscious because they're not used to all of a sudden attention coming. It's not necessarily the attention coming to them, but I'm getting stared at so much, and it makes them feel really awkward. And I'm like, don't worry about it. It's just me, you know. And it's just, I believe it's just a natural human reaction. So yeah, I don't give, and I really respect parents that when their child acknowledges me, I really respect parents that go, hey, look at her, yeah, isn't she cute? Well, not cute. Isn't she small? She's got a little car. Isn't that neat? And I think that that's fantastic, you know, because you're teaching your child it's okay to be different. I had a couple instances in the UK where this little boy said, Mommy, look, she has small arms. And out of nowhere, this woman smacked her child across the face. It was like a Rocky move. I actually went like, holy shit, I thought she was going to come at me. And by doing that, you're teaching your kid to not acknowledge. Guess what, lady? I've got short arms. You know, he was telling the truth. So why punish a kid for that? It's absolutely ridiculous. So, who is coughing in the background? That's Kevin, and he's in the living room, which is on the other side of the apartment. That's how great the friggin' microphone is. Did you hear that, Kevin? You're coughing and somebody can hear it. That's hilarious. I was like, Kevin, talk to me on the thing so if nobody asks any questions. I'm not getting involved. Haha, you're involved whether you want it or not. Doesn't sound good. Oh, that's probably his cough doesn't sound good. He's a smoker. Oh, so what else? He's talking. I don't know what he said. So I was obviously an adorable kid. If you look at my baby pictures, I was adorable. We actually had dolls that you could buy called Cupid dolls in the 60s and 70s. It was like the first sort of walking, talkie, doll. And I looked just like one once my hair finally grew out. And my mom actually always put my hair, she did my hair so pretty all the time. I had pink tails. Once it grew out, I was bald for the longest time. So once my hair grew out, I had pink tails all the time and little ribbons and, cute dresses. And I always had to wear frilly underwear. That's the problem. My ass has always been bigger than the rest of my body. So here I am in kindergarten, first grade, with pink tails and this cute little dresses on. And I'm wearing frilly, lacy underwear. And so I would stand on, we had these outdoor vents in subways or cities with subways sometimes. You know how you walk on the metal grate and you could feel the air coming up from it? Well, we had one of those outside of our school. And I would do my Marilyn Monroe all the time. And I'm like, if my mom wants me to wear frilly underwear, I'm going to make sure that you can see my frilly underwear. And I'd always have my dress up and, and showing off my booty. So I've always been a bit of an exhibitionist, I guess. Ooh, hi from Texas. That's cool. Cool. You people from UK, hello. Oh, somebody on your son has dwarfism. Oh, he's great just the way he is. Of course he is. If you have a kid or a family member with dwarfism, oh my gosh, that's the best thing. Why would we all want to look the same? And you like how I dress? Thanks. I lost so much weight right now that most of my clothes don't even fit me. I have all these gorgeous dresses, and most of them don't fit me. I mean, even this is just like, look at it's falling off me. I'm not going to buy any new clothes because we're hoping to move back to the States in a couple of months. So there's no point in buying a new wardrobe. I saw a thing on one of my dwarfism pages actually earlier today. A woman posted a gorgeous picture of her daughter. I don't know if she knows what type of dwarfism she has, but she was saying while she was pregnant, she got some scans, and the doctors basically said, your child's head is shaped like a lemon. She's not going to be developed properly. You should probably abort. And she was like, no, I'm going to see how this shit goes. And thankfully, anyway, we never know what's going to happen inside the womb. So this baby turned around and is this beautiful little girl. So I'm so glad with the internet now where we can have these forums where people, new parents that are going to have a child with any type of disability, but obviously with dwarfism, that we, as successful people with dwarfism, we can, impart our wisdom and show the world that we can pretty much be anything we want and successful. It's just all about having a positive attitude. Oh, hello from South Carolina. Hello from Leicestershire. I never know how to say these flippin' words. Yes, please let me know where you're coming from, and hit the little likey button. I got a donate button too. I don't know if that comes up on the thing. I don't know any of these high-tech things. But anyway, back to me as a kid, because I was thinking about some of the shit that I used to do as a kid. We lived on a horseshoe type road called Lakewood Drive in Winnipeg when I was in elementary school, and it was the best community. Like, this is why I feel like kids are getting ripped off these days, because the sense of community in their neighborhoods isn't like when we were kids. And so it was a horseshoe, and we would have block parties where they would block off each end of the street, and all the neighbors would come out with their barbecues and their music, and we'd all play games together and the whole neighborhood, and it was so much fun. And a couple of our neighbors had swimming pools. So, we didn't. So every couple of days when it was, 30 some degrees in Winnipeg, which is always scorching. Everybody knows Winnipeg is Winterpeg because it is hot. It is cold as anything in the summer, or cold as anything in the winter. Hello. But in the summertime, it is hot as hell. And we have winter and mosquito season. But anyway, so I'd always bring up the neighbors, hey, any chance anybody's going swimming at your place today? Because they were responsible and they wouldn't just, let me go into their pool without supervision. But that was always fun. And I remember I had a crush on Jason Stevens. He was my neighbor across the street. I think we're friends on Facebook right now. And Jason Stevens was my boyfriend. I don't think he realized it. Actually, I think I told him. I probably told him that I was his girlfriend. And I think my mom used to watch like Dynasty and all those types of shows, or soap operas. And I remember I went over to Jason Stevens' place, and his parents had like down there in their basement, had like a bar area and stuff. And I grabbed Jason one time and I was like, you need to kiss me. You're my boyfriend. And I basically was like, now you have to lie on top of me. That's how it works. And then I remember, because he was a fat kid, he laid on top of me. I was like, get off me, I can't breathe. Oh my God. Some things haven't changed, I guess. Yeah, so great memories. And I was very entrepreneurial, I guess. I used to have lemonade stands as a kid on my street, and I would pick flowers from the neighbors' gardens, and then I would try and sell bundles of flowers to the neighbors. What an asshole. I mean, yeah. I got busted, but I was so fucking cute, they didn't give a shit, so that was good. Hi from Narrowboat. You're Narrowboat. Oh, cool. Somebody's on a boat. People live on boats in the UK, like these narrow boats. They're so cool. I've been on one, and my ass is so wide that it's very difficult for me to actually walk down a narrowboat because my hips are too flippin' big. Yeah. So back to me being a super cute kid. I was a bit devious. Back in the day, grocery stores weren't open on Sundays. And we had the Dominion grocery store. And you walked in on either side, and we walked in on the left-hand side, the bakery was right there. It was the big glass bakery with all the cookies and the cakes and all that kind of stuff. Well, I couldn't keep up with my mom when she went grocery shopping, and I didn't want to sit in the car, because back then it was completely legal to put your kid in the car when it was 35 degrees and barely crack a window. But anyway, I had a plan. I would go inside the Dominion grocery store while my mother was shopping, doing her thing, and I would go up to the bakery glass partition, and I would be like, wow, those are sure some pretty cookies. And I would sit there and just basically like slobber against the glass, and it never failed. The bakery person could not resist and be like, would you like a cookie? And I was like, me? Yeah, so I don't know if my mother caught on to that's what I was doing, but I didn't always beg for money or beg for stuff. It's weird how, I was going to put on lipstick. Man, that's probably why my lips are so dry. I remember this one time, I was sitting, hold on, my lips are dry, I'm talking too fast. That looks, alright, now I feel complete. Little moisture. Everything's dry in this country, except for the weather. The water's drying. Anyway, oh God, I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, anyway, it was very cute. Anybody have any other questions? What else? Are you the only dwarf in your my family? Yes, I am. I'll be 50 years old, November 27th of this year. Mark your calendars. And I have one sister. biological sister. She's 5.5 years older than me. She's tall. Everybody in my family is tall. I have dystrophic dysplasia, which is a rare form of dwarfism. It's a recessive gene, so it only pops up, once in a blue moon. So usually dystrophic dwarfs are very bossy, very headstrong. They just get on with shit because we're usually the only ones in our family. So we just adapt, I think, just to the big people world and just sort of get on with it. And people say, oh, do you think because you're a little person you need to be a comedian? And I think I'd be a comedian even if I wasn't. I feel very fortunate. I've got this extra little hook that makes people curious and shit. So, I'm going to hit my screen here because I don't know. Oh, there we go. Thanks. Oh, hello from the world. Anybody else over here? Let me know where you're from on Instagram. Yeah, let me know if you've got any other questions and stuff like that for the rebroadcast. And I don't even know how much time we've been doing here. What time is it? Ooh, 31 minutes. So I'll probably do another 15 minutes or so if you're interested, if anybody wants to tag along. Having any other things they want to talk about? Oh. I was supposed to be in the Middle East a couple of weeks ago. It would have been my second tour in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And so that's now been moved to August. So if any of my friends are out that way, I'll be back in August. Hopefully that won't be canceled. I'm sure things will open up. Hello, Amanda from Hull, Yorkshire. Hello from Fife. Oh, I love Scotland. Actually, next Saturday, I can't remember the date, is it? Saturday, May 18th, I'm going to be doing a show for the Stand Comedy Club, which is one of my favorite comedy clubs in the entire world. So keep an eye open for that. How do you like England before the lockdown? Actually, I much prefer England during the lockdown. People are a lot nicer. I don't have to take public transportation. If you're just getting to know me, you could go back into my videos and see all the drama and bullshit that I have to deal with just to get on public transportation in the United Kingdom. So, yeah. I've got a donate button for me for PayPal, hashtag Tanya Lee Davis. If you want to PayPal me, that would be lovely. I'm unemployed. Just doing this. Hello from Philadelphia. I've never been to Philadelphia. When are you coming to the island? Hi, Esther. Well, I know. The last couple of times I've been to Vancouver, I haven't made it over to the Vancouver Island. But I really, that is the plan. Next time we're over there, I want to get Kevin to the island so we can do some whale watching and, of course, see all my amazing friends. I was hoping to set up a tour in BC for the summer months, but then everything just basically, all my gigs have now been canceled up until August, basically. So, hello, midday in Canada. Hello. Thanks for coming. Does your husband really kiss better than your Uncle Mark? Well, Uncle Mark unfortunately has passed away, but he's still stiff in all the right ways. That's so wrong on so many levels. Thanks for referring to one of my jokes. That's great. Yes, Kevin is a wonderful kisser. I've had that joke for, pre-Kevin days, but yeah, so somebody asked me when we're planning on moving. So June 15th is when we're planning on flying back to the U.S., back to Florida. And I was going to be there for basically 6 weeks. We're going to go to the Little People Convention in Austin, Texas. I was going to be doing some gigs, and now it's all gone. Plan is still to go back to Florida, because I don't have any gigs over in the UK until the beginning of August, and now with my Middle East tour. So and then the plan is to officially, if things start coming back here in the UK, I am going to come back for August, September, October, and then we will officially move back to the US, to Florida, and temporarily. Hello from Orlando, yay! Oh, I appreciate it. You make me smile. What part of Florida? Well, my parents live in Floral City, and which is near Ocala. So we might be there, but we also have a chance of maybe living down in Wellington, Florida. My friend John Noley has a great business called JoJo's Raw Bar in Wellington, Florida, as well as Pierced Cider in Fort Pierce, Florida. So they're great, and yeah, so we might be hanging out, working out some stuff with him. What is the most unusual name you've given to a pet? I can list other than all my grandparents' dogs were named Sporty. The only pets I've had of my own, well, my first cat's name was Hollywood, and then my second cat's name was Vine. So I had Hollywood and Vine were my two cats, and then Vine died like within the first month, so I named my other cat La Brea, which were two cross streets in Hollywood where I lived, where I first got my cats. Oh, Winter Garden, Florida. Lots of people from Florida. Good. Lots of fans, because I'm going to be coming to Florida. I don't want to live there between October and November. I want to get out. I'll probably be living in the UK or for those months alone. Have you ever performed in Boston? I love Boston. I love Provincetown. I used to spend my summers in Provincetown, P-Town on Cape Cod. And unfortunately, since I started doing comedy, we spent my summers in the Cape, but that was before I started doing comedy. And I've been to Boston, I think, once since then, but I haven't actually performed there. But I'm hoping to make a trip to Provincetown on Cape Cod, because my dad's second wife lived there, and my sister and I spent all our great summers in P-Town, where the population will raise 30,000 from gays and lesbians. It's got a higher population of the LGBT community in Provincetown than San Francisco. I learned all my makeup tricks and stuff from all the drag queens. Yeah, I'd like to go back there and check that out again. So maybe, I mean, if you live in a city that has a comedy club, in America especially, call your comedy clubs or email them and request me and tell them you want to see me. Send them my videos, because right now it's so difficult to get booked if you're not on television. I mean, let's just put the whole quarantine thing down off to the side, but just in general, like, that's the problem with you know, our business right now. Unless you're on TV and you're a draw, more so in America. That's what I love about the UK, is they don't give a shit. You know, they go, when they don't do introductions at comedy clubs, they say, your next act is da-da-da. Whereas in the States or North America, they'll be like, hi, you may have seen this comedian on this, Joe Schmo's this, and you might have seen this guy in Randy's Basement or on a Tide commercial, and nobody gives a shit, right? They just want you to be funny now. And that's why I like the comedy scene better here in the UK, as far as it's not so pretentious. But who are my favorite comedians? Well, the late departed Robin Williams was my favorite. There was something about Robin Williams when I was growing up. I think because my parents were divorced and my dad kind of looks like Robin Williams in the eyes and stuff. Growing up and watching Mork and Mindy, you know, and he was so funny. I know he was coked up. My dad wasn't coked up. But I loved Robin Williams, his energy and stuff like that, and he was just so spontaneous. And I think as a young kid, and remembering my dad being so funny with his stuff, that I think it was that. And plus, he's brilliant, an actor and stuff. Yuck Yuck's an Absolute Comedy in Ottawa. Yes, the guy at Absolute Comedy won't book me for whatever reason. I don't know. I've tried to talk to him. He was very rude to me on the phone. But call him and ask him why he's not booking me. Yuck Yucks, that's where I started. That's where I started doing comedy, Yuck Yucks. But, you know, unless you're a big name comedian now, trying to get back into your home country is very difficult. You know, even as an American comedian now, trying to break back in, it's like you're never appreciated in your home country. That's why being a Canadian American here in the UK, I'm a novelty on so many fronts. And with my accent, it's very sort of, you know, generic Canadian accents. We're not regional, really. You know, it works well for international gigs, you know, because people can understand us. Yeah. How would I be able to reach you? You can email me. Go through my website, TanyaLeeDavis.com, or Facebook Messenger. If you're on Instagram, you can go on my Facebook and give it a like. My fan page is pretty much where I post all this stuff. This is my first ever Instagram thingy, so I hope it does whatever it's supposed to do. It's kind of cool. I'm from Kansas. Yeah, so what else? Anybody else have any questions? Who's up? Who's up? This is interesting. I'm dodging between two different things. Somebody donated to Dogs Trust. Okay, that's great. Dogs Trust. Donate to Tanya Lee Davis. Dogs Trust. I love dogs, don't get me wrong. But this chick needs some food too. Well, yes, I think he is losing out on me. Well, that's the thing is, a lot of comedy club bookers, they book the comics that they like. And, you know, they see somebody like me and they think, ooh, the audience is not going to like her. I actually had a booker say, we had somebody with cerebral palsy doing shows at our club and people didn't understand them. So we don't think that they're going to like you. And I was like, how can you compare me with somebody that had, you know, had a speech impediment? I'm from Swansea. Thanks, I'm doing great. I appreciate that. It's a kind of a, we're going from 6 to 10 people on Instagram and about 30 to 45 on Facebook Live. So there'll be a rebroadcast of this as well. So that's cool. So keep asking questions, even if you're checking this out on the rebroadcast, because I will. Oh really? I didn't want to. Oh, my donate button says Dogs Trust. I don't know how I did that. I don't. But there's a PayPal.me/Tanya Lee Davis. That's, what is your tattoo? Oh, so this is one of many tattoos. I have 5. So this is Slick. She's unstoppable. So I am part of an anti-bullying campaign, kindness campaign called Great As You Are. GR number 8, as you are. And it's an anti-bullying kindness campaign. That's the reason why I live in Norwich, England currently, because I've been part of this for since 2013, and I've been going into schools trying to teach kids to be kind to one another and use my story and my life stories to inspire kids, because I think that's a big problem in this generation is kids are not motivated to do anything. Like, they just have no role models. Everything now is dark. Back in our day, we used to have superheroes and people to look up to, astronaut and the police and all these, you know, people, and now we don't anymore. Our kids don't have people to look up to. It's all doom and gloom, and that's what I'm hoping to do. And Great As You Are has 7 main characters, and Slick is my character. She's a little chubby owl. She has a Zoomerang that she gets around on, and our books will be coming out soon, and hopefully an animated series and all that kind of stuff. So check out greatasyouare.com if you're a teacher, especially in the UK. We are going to be going national. What is? Oh, you're addicted to Last Kingdom? Oh, isn't that guy on Last Kingdom adorable, ladies? Oh, he's kind of like that guy from Outlander. Oh, I can't remember anybody's names, but oh, any man that's got that with their nice, just juicy buttocks. Oh, I need a drink. Shower, stat. Yeah. Oh, I thought about teamed up with Born This Way Foundation. I think that Born This Way Foundation is Lady Gaga's thing, right? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I should join it. I guess I'll look into it. But, you know, I am born this way. So, oh my, what else is going on? Oh, would love to see those books. Yes, Great As You Are. Just look them up. They're not out yet. All the resources have been hidden, but it's because we're waiting to go release big sort of boom at one thing, which will be happening soon. But check out the website, and if you want any information on Great As You Are, contact me directly. Terry, you gonna buy my book? I know, Kevin and I have been talking about writing a book together, but neither of us are fucking motivated. That's the problem. So I've been recording us when we lay in bed and talk. We're not recording for any other reason. Hey, Jason French! I'm talking about Kevin and I lying in bed together. I told hubby to grow his hair long. Oh, Kevin's hair is actually as curly. He just shaved because it was driving him nuts, but his hair is actually quite long and curly. Yeah, well, I'd like to write a book. We need somebody to sort of ghostwrite it for us. But we have a great love story. I'll shave and get fucking motivated. I'm sorry. My cousin, Brittle Bones. Yeah, show your channel. Show my channel to everybody. I apologize. I'll try to put this on YouTube. I know my YouTube. The problem is with YouTube is I don't own a lot of rights to my own comedy. Stuff that I've done on TV and everything, it's all licensed, and so the only way that I can put stand-up comedy on my page is if I record it myself, and we all know from this that I'm not exactly the best at trying to set up shit, but I'm getting better. The lighting doesn't look too bad in this. You know, hi Mel Moon. Check out Mel Moon because she's doing some really funny videos, and I hope she's going to get a wig and do her version of Carol Baskin. Because that would be hilarious. Is Kevin always behind the camera? No, Kevin's not even in the room. Kevin is, I've got a little contraption that holds my iPad up. I've got my my phone here for Instagram. I got my laptop here, but only for light. I don't know. I was going to try and share my live on my regular Facebook, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. So, I don't know. Somebody share this. Do a watch party or something. I enjoyed following you. Oh, thank you. I try to reply to people. Yeah, so give me a like. I try to reply to people as best as I can, you know, because I was trying to think of things to talk about, right? Hi, Mel. Waiting for live. Oh, God. Anyway, I'll have to share this on my regular page later. So what else has been going on? People have been asking me how we're doing around here. And actually, not doing too bad. Got a couple of things to look forward to. It's more health problems, you know, that we're worried about. So we're trying to stay safe. And my friend Lou, who's in Wales, she's mailing out a couple of masks for us. Very exciting. I wore a pair of panties the other day to the store. I can probably hear Kevin yelling at me from there. They're really cool. They're really pretty. And I folded them, and I took elastics and put it behind my ears. And so it was nice and loose cotton around my mouth. But at first I had the band that said Bondi or Bonds, you know, underwear. And so Kevin was like, you can't go out like that. But then I tucked it in, and they looked beautiful, and I could breathe. I'm glad I cheered you up during lockdown. That means a lot to me, you guys, because, you know, I'm a very social person. And so, like, something like this, I've been anxious about all day, but it's actually been really nice, and knowing that people are actually listening to my shit is fucking mental. So, yeah, give us a like, give us a heart, and, you know, I mean, I'll do these more regularly if you know, this is a decent setup, and it doesn't, if you don't mind my clothes, and I've got my own privacy. Thanks. Being funny. Hey, how did I get into the comedy business? Well, I really wanted to be an actress. I've mentioned this a couple of times in videos. I really wanted to be an actress growing up because I loved Robin Williams and I loved American sitcoms. And so I started doing, you know, theater and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, I wasn't getting any lead parts. But in the 7th grade, they had... So I went to in the 7th grade, I was in grade 8 or 9 at Lincoln, and it was elementary, so year kindergarten to 6, and then 7, 8, 9. So I was there for year 8 and 9, and they were looking for a kid in the junior high years to do the narration for a children's Christmas play. And I actually had gone to some acting classes at that point. My mom sent me to some classes, which was great, and I learned how to project and be animated. And so when I read for the narration for this children's play, I really used my voice and I inflected and stuff, and I landed the part. So I didn't act at all, but for the whole Christmas production, it was only my voice narrating. And so that was kind of my first thing. And then when my grandma died, they wanted me to do my own eulogy, and I've already talked about my grandma and how much I loved her. I have so many great memories. So I was talking about her bingo wings. Oh God, see, I've got her bingo wings. Oh, yay, I'm gonna fly. So, you know, I basically, as long as I keep something light and fluffy, and I was talking about all the great things grandma and how much I loved her, and people are kind of like, you know, why are you trying to be funny? So then I went into like how much I love grandma, and I broke down in tears and went from, you know, 0 to dolphin in 2.2 seconds. So as long as I keep things upbeat, then I can be funny. You know, as a self-employed person myself, yes. Thank you very much. Okay, what else? What was I just talking about? This is the problem. My fucking brain goes out the window really quickly. And people have asked, it's hard because I'm going to have to scroll down on some of these questions here. You were wearing a sleeping mask. Oh, yeah, we were using sleeping masks, which Kevin is still using his sleeping mask as outside. But my friend Lou, who's in Wales, I paid for her to ship a couple of masks, so we should have some proper, nice homemade masks. I've tried so many times, I cannot get off the ground. Yeah, if you're talking about getting off the ground with stand-up, you just have to do it. You know, you just have to. There's lots of open mics everywhere. You know, it's one of those things I think everybody should try. Public speaking is the #1 fear all over the world, public speaking. And, you know, it's very vulnerable, comedians just getting up there and talking. At least here, you guys can zoom in, zoom out, whatever. And you're like sick of me, you can just leave. But when you're up on stage and you're not getting a response, you're like, hey, and you have to just really roll with the punches and stuff. So I should write a poem. Oh God, Tanya goes AWOL. Yeah, well, I'm going AWOL, but we're doing okay. I haven't been outside. Well, we went out a couple of days ago and to the shop, so that made me feel better. So today's Wednesday. We'll probably go out in the next couple of days, depending on the weather. So anyway, thank you. Like I said, there is a donation button. I don't feel bad. Don't donate to Dogs Trust. You can donate to me. PayPal.me/Tanya Lee Davis. Make sure you give me a like and hit the little doohickeys. Let me know where you're from, because with the rebroadcast and everything. Yeah, and if you want me to keep doing this, let me know, because it was kind of fun. I had a good time. And let me know what other topics you would, talking about the arms. Oh, you're talking about the bingo wings. Yeah, I know. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for joining me. And, yeah, I guess we'll try this another time. And I appreciate you guys, all your questions, and on Instagram as well. And share these with your friends. And, what are you looking forward to most after lockdown? Going to Nando's, just going to see my friends, hugging people. I miss I miss physical contact with people. I don't like shaking hands, but I miss physical contact. Yeah, I miss being around people. I like this quiet time, but it's the being told you can't go outside. I think that's the biggest problem, right? I'm okay with staying in for this, but it's being told you can't go outside. So anyway, stay healthy. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to end this because we're almost up on an hour. So thanks again. Drop me a PayPal or a coffee. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.